Okay, this video is to help you with drawing and dimensioning of the pipe clamp. Step one is you open your AutoCAD, whatever version you have. And the first thing you always want to do when you're starting a new drawing is you want to go open that start file. And I've given you that start file to work off of. Remember, you can get it off my website. If not, you should have it in your folder. So I'm going to go to open. And I'm going to change it to make sure I'm going to my U drive. See, computer. There's my U drive. I have an AutoCAD folder, and I want to start with the title block. I always start with my title block. Your title block will have set in for you. All your layers have already been predefined. And the title block, specifically the way that I want it to look for when you draw, is already predefined. Most companies you go work for them, they are not going to have you create all the different layers, and they are not going to have you create a title block. They're going to have a specific set that they want everybody in that company to follow. The main thing is, do you know how to get to them, and do you know how to use them? Okay, now, again, we do not draw in paper space. This is our paper space because it's white. It looks like paper. We're going to go draw in model space. Simply click on the model tab, and there it is. Now, there it is. So we're going through. So again, if you're following the PowerPoint, it's the same thing. We're going through step by step. What's your objective? How do you turn in? There's different things to remember. Remember F12 to turn dynamic input on or off if it's getting in your way, causing issues. Remember OSnap for object snap. There's a bunch of different things that are the most important. If you have gone through and you set up your units and you did everything like you were supposed to originally, if you were using that original start file, all your settings, all your units, everything should be correct. So we want to make sure that we have everything together. Your dimension styles should be set up. All of this should be correctly done. You just need to make sure you know how to go and get to it. So if you're in here and you're not quite sure, you can go into your dimension style and you can go check to make sure things are set. But they should be set for you. See, it's Arial, bilayer, 0.125. See, the things that we want to make sure that we have are set, they're already set. So we're good to go. Okay? I'm just going to exit out. Let's start drawing first, and I'm simply following the instructions again. Everything that's right here. We're going to draw a rectangle that is exactly 2.2. That means the starting point right here at the corner is 2.2 on the coordinate system, simply because we want a specific starting point. And then we're going to do the D for dimension, width, and so forth. So everything that I'm showing through is in here in the PowerPoint step by step. Students sometimes will have issues with this right here where it says R4 and they're starting to draw it in. R4, R stands for radius. Remember, you are not going to type in R4. If you did that, you're going to get into some parametric programming, and we are not doing that right now. We are just doing basic draw and edit tools in AutoCAD. So do not type in R4. Simply follow along the instructions, radius 4, continue to draw, explode, and so forth. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and exit out because I know what I'm drawing here. Home command. First thing I'm going to draw, I'm going to change it to the visible layer, just like if you were drawing by hand. You always use the right line type and the right thickness of lead. My starting point is 2,2. I'm going to tell it D for dimension. I know the length is 16. I know the width is 0.5. I move my mouse and click. Use my zoom extent so I can see out. A little pan function, so I'm moving around. Here we go. Now next, I need a center line because I want to make sure I have the center perfect. Line, middle. If you do not have a triangle, this is why. Most often you work in a company and you may be sharing a computer with people. You don't always get to just have your own computer. If somebody has gone in and turned the O snaps off, you will not be able to snap to what you want to snap. So O snap, O man, make sure your snaps are set where you need it to be. Does not guarantee that the last person that used your computer left it the way you wanted it. So always make sure you know your O snaps. Line, straight up. There you go. Next, I'm going to draw some circles. I'm going to go back to my correct layer. Again, it's just like when you were drawing by hand. You use the right type of line type. You use the right type of lead. So we want to use the same here. It says a radius of 4. So, and I'm using the radius one, not the diameter, 4.5. Enter. There it is. Go to trim, spacebar. Okay, there we go. Next, I'm going to draw another rectangle that has a starting corner of 2,9. And again, we're just using that because it just makes it easier. You don't have to think. It's just right there. Again, D for dimension, 16, enter, 4, enter. Move your mouse and click. Use my lovely zoom extent tools again. Oh no, my center line doesn't go all the way through. Click on it. Grab that blue node editor. Hold it down with your left click on your mouse and just drag it out. That's all it takes. Remember, those blues are your node editor handles. That's all we need to do. I need to explode this rectangle because if I don't, I'm going to show you what happens. So if I go tell it to offset 1, see how it keeps making the whole object? I don't want that. All I want to do is I know that my center lines, if I look at the drawing, that they're 2 inches in this way and 1 inch down in this way. So explode first, make sure it's exploded. Hit the enter key. Explode, select the object, hit enter. And I'm going to offset. Offset. Select on these lines. Change them to center. There's my perfect circles, right? Then I need a circle in each corner. They have a 0.5 radius right there. I'm going to hit the enter key once, pick my center point, hit the enter key again. What it does is when you hit the enter key, it will bring up the last command. So that's just one of those 2 key shortcuts that's nice to know and use. Okay, next is I need my fillets, or fillet if you prefer to call it that, but we're not filleting a fish. We're going to fillet the corners here. So I'm going to give it a fillet round of 0.5. So I click on the fillet command. Down here you'll notice that it pops up with a different one. So we're going to use radius. You can type an R, enter, or you click on the R. Tell it what size it needs to be, which is 0.5. And then it says pick the object. Corner, corner. Perfect. Enter key once. Pick, pick. Remember, it keeps the last command. So you can simply do it that way. Enter key just once, just to get that last command. There we go. Okay, next, if you think back to when you draw by hand, we're still missing some items. We are missing the fact that, 1, we have what is lovingly referred to as the hump here in the middle. We are missing those lines that come off of that. We have the holes that are going straight through here, which is what you would use to bolt to something if we were going to hold it down. We need that representation down here. So we're going to do something real quick. So just like we were drawing by hand, I turn projection line on. And all I'm going to do is project those lines down, just like if I was drawing by hand. Remember, the rule is always project always your lines up to wherever they match, then go back, draw the correct line. So think of this is your projection line, always drawn lightly, always project straight down. It can always go outside, that doesn't matter. The point is it lined up. Okay, I'm going to go get my hidden lines. Line. Enter. So I know that those should be hidden because from the front view I can't see them, but I know that they're there. And same thing for the top view. I can't see the inside, but it's there. I'm going to change it to visible. Now in your layers, you can actually set ones up where they don't print. So if I went to projection, you can actually go in and modify it and set it in and say, does it, you want it to print or not? You can turn it on, you can turn it off, visible, etc. It's there. I have found sometimes that it's confusing for students over the years to leave the projection lines on there. So if you want to, when you get done, simply click on the little light bulb and they go away. Or you can delete them. Either one works. Doesn't matter to me, just so long as you know how to do it, how to use it, what works for you. Now, we're still missing center lines down here. So you literally just keep repeating that process. Remember, enter key, spacebar, and escape are sometimes your best friends when you're working in AutoCAD. So I'll use the escape key all kinds of different ones when I'm working in here. All right, it looks pretty darn good. So I got everything here that I need. Now I need to get this into my title block for printing. You only draw in model space. I'm not going to do any of my details. I'm not going to do any of my annotation, my dimensioning. I do all the drawing in model space so that I can put over in paper space what I need. If I needed to do a detail that showed just this corner here, I could. I don't need to right now, but if I could, and I would simply have another tab here, I could simply right click here, add a new new layout, make a new one, and keep going. I could use multiple. So I could have different pages over here for every single thing that I need. What we're doing is just simple I don't. You can have as much as, if I remember correctly, as many as 20. So if I had a really detailed drawing, I could really detail it out this way. But for right now, we're just going to do a basic. All right, I need to get the drawing from model space into my paper space. I'm going to go right here under layout, rectangular, corner, corner. Notice it's a little green. I don't want it to be green. Change it back to border. So all I want is back to home, change it back to border. Next thing I want you to notice is I want you to notice the scale. Down here at the bottom, it's showing us a scale of 0.469. We do not want that. We want a specific scale. It is not a scale to fit. It is not some random number. It needs to be a specific number. So you want to make it a 1 to 2. And if you go through here and you see you don't have a 1 to 2, don't panic. Click on Custom. Click on Add. 1 to 2. So you could have a 1 to 4, 1 to 8, 1 to 100, 100 to 1, whatever you need, you can make it. You can go in and make a custom scale. But I want this one to be a 1 to 2. And now notice it just made it a nice custom. Now there's a reason why you do specific scales, not just a scale to fit. If I print this out and somebody's going to build it and they see that the scale is a 1 to 2 and they take out that 1 to 2 scale to go in to measure it, to double check the measurements, they will be wrong if you don't make sure you're using a specified scale. That's why that's important. Okay, next thing I want you to look at is I want you to look at your line types. They're a little off, right? Little function, LT scale. Wonderful little tool. Right now I'll set to 1. Let's see what happens if I change it to 2. They're even bigger, right? Hit the enter key. Now I'm going to change it to 0.5. Now they look correct. So sometimes you have to pay attention to what scale you're using, and you may have to adjust the scale so that it looks appropriate, so that it looks correct, so that you're following those correct dimensioning tools, drawing tools. All right, now we're ready to dimension it. We're going to annotate. So I'm going to go get my dimension layer. I'm going to go to annotate, and I'm going to dimension it. So let's start off by doing this one. And that's got 4 of them. So I just double click on it, move my mouse to the front, parentheses 4. That's all it takes to be able to do that. I want to do linear here. So I'm changing it to linear. Enter key, because you can do the last command. And I just simply keep going. I keep going and dimensioning. What I want you to look at, this looks like it should. Notice how the font and the arrows match the same size down here. So when we print them out, they're that 1.25. I want you to see what happens if I do the exact same measurement here, but I do it in model space. I want you to see how small they are. Go back to title block. Oops, they're super small over here too. Well, they're not even showing up over here. Where it happened here? Should be showing up, and they're not. Let's try again. Let's do this one. Well, it's not even showing up, but you get the point. It's just too small. So don't dimension. Do your dimensioning in the paper space in your title block. So then you would need to come through and you would need to change the title. So this one's PipeClamp. Type it in, hit enter. Double click, change your name. Double click the scale. Scale is 1 to 2. Double click on year, month, date. You need to save on, change all that. And then do a save as. Never do a save. Always do a save as so you make sure you know where it's going. Make sure it's going the right place. My Baxter drive to my AutoCAD. PipeClamp. There. And then because most people do not have the AutoCAD file, I always have you export it as a PDF. and then you submit the PDF for grading. There's other formats you can use, but PDF seems to be the easiest one for everybody to use. Then you can send them a PDF and they can look at your drawing and approve it or not approve it, that kind of stuff. All right, congratulations, you just completed problem 5 pipe clamp.